Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nikki.
And welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine
And whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mom lives. We also try to find resources that are going to help you and us based on whatever topic we're discussing, which this month is Mickey Mouse March.
which makes it so much more fun to give you resources.
It does. First, we're going to point out our Mickey Mouse themed clothing. I, of course, have my favorite pair of ears on. Well, they're one of my favorites. I got a couple. And then I've got this t-shirt that says, I hope this wine is not a figment of my imagination, because Figment
Solid.
is a character from Disney World at Epcot. What you got on?
I've got the villains on today. We're going full villain mode. You can ask my kids. Just kidding. And I have Maleficent leggings.
There you go.
Yep.
Get that leg up there.
I know, that was difficult. No rocket moves for me.
Today we are drinking another 19 Crimes wine. This one is a red blend. It's rich and round with a soft, fruity finish, sweet aromatics with notes of chocolate.
I like anything with chocolate in it.
Heck yeah. This one is themed off of Irish-born poet John Boyle O'Reilly, who was arrested for mutiny in 1866. He was sentenced to 20 years in an Australian penal colony. O'Reilly convinced a Catholic priest to help him arrange a daring escape. Let's see if the wine is as daring.
I think it's pretty good. I've already taken a couple sips while you were reading it.
It is good. That's very good.
So today we are going to whine about booking experiences and dining experiences, if you will. A lot of the times when you go to theme parks, especially if you're talking about Disney World or Disneyland, this is not a trip you're going to make often, if more than once. And so you want to try and cram everything in that you can. And that can be really difficult because of the popularity of different things, because of the time that you have. And it can be very hard to fit everything in that you want to fit in and to afford everything that you want to do.
Yeah. It can be difficult to squeeze it all in. You can feel a lot of pressure to squeeze it all in. Because there definitely are, like you said, people that only go like once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Or a couple times, or maybe you're only going once when your kid is young enough to still believe in the magic,
Right.
So.
Or sometimes you
Kids
might be
get older,
with...
they get all skeptical and stuff, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
The
Sometimes
magic
you're
is real.
With a group too, and some people in the group may want to focus on one thing, and you want to try to squeeze in Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique before your 11 or 12-year-old doesn't care anymore. That's a little old, but you know what I mean. But you want to make sure that you're trying to get in the things exactly that you want to get in too. So it can be very stressful whether you're with someone else or just with your family, just trying to fit it all in.
Yeah, and it's not like back in the day where you can just show up and participate in 98% of the things. A lot of them require advanced reservations because they fill up, and they fill up within minutes of the reservations opening in the morning. So it's you got to know what you're doing if you have specific things you want to do. Now, you can still just walk into the park, buy a ticket if there's availability, wander around and have a perfectly magical and wonderful time. But if you see stuff in videos and in the, media and advertising, specific experiences you want to have, places you want to eat, we're going to talk you through how to do that.
That's right. We're going to provide all the tips that we can. I know that one of my main frustrations the last time we went, we had this huge trip planned. It was going to be something where we finally went to all four of the parks, because I hadn't been to all four of them yet. And I was going to take all the kids, and we were going to stay for a week, and it was going to be a huge, big deal. And I was even thinking that it might be fun to do our 10-year anniversary vow renewals in Disney and we had
Ooh.
everything set for 2020. And we all know what
Womp
happened
womp.
in 2020. So all of these things that I thought we were going to get to do had to be pushed off for a little bit, which is fine.
You
We
know?
eventually went, and the trip was fun. But even when we went, a lot of things were still shut down, including the
Yeah.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, which I was finally looking forward to being able to take our daughter to. So sometimes you just have to adjust, but it's one of those things where we had someone come to the hotel room and they still had a lot of fun
Yes.
getting all duded up. And we'll have some of those resources too. If you can't squeeze everything in from the actual parks, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cast members that offer services outside of the parks that they will bring to your hotel room and things like that.
Yes, go to that Facebook group, Ear for Each Other, and that's where
Mm-hmm.
they advertise all their services.
That's right.
But there, I think, on a side note, not to do with Disney, there might be a curse in our family because I also
Uh
planned a really fun and fancy vow renewal trip and then found out I was pregnant and we couldn't go because it
oh.
was in Ireland. I had saved up all of this money. I had planned, I have a friend who lives in Ireland that we could stay with, and I was going to plan this big fancy trip. Um, and then we found out I was pregnant. So, and it's not just that I was pregnant, it's that I was going to be so pregnant at the time of our trip
Right.
because our anniversary was in June and our daughter was due August. So I would have
Yes.
been way too pregnant for flying
Yeah. Doctor would
that
have been
far.
like, I don't think so.
Yeah. But on a positive note, because I had been saving for that vacation, I then had the money to pay to have my daughter because it's
Hey.
that expensive. So,
Whine about
silver
that while we're
linings,
at
I guess.
it.
And she is going to last me longer than that marriage did. So,
True. True. Cheers to that.
that's horrible. Okay,
But so
back on
funny.
track. Back to my happy place.
That's right.
Okay.
Disney's a place of magic and happiness.
It is. It 1,000% is. When to book. Like, this is like the basics. When can you book experiences, whether
Mm-hmm.
they be dining or other experiences that we'll chat about. So, guests with a valid Disney Resort hotel reservation can make reservations for the entire length of their stay on the first day of from the first day of their trip to the last day of their trip, the whole stay. You can make all your reservations 60 days in advance, and it will open at like 6 a.m. in the morning. It says
And that's
approximately 6 a.m. on the website, but you want to be ready to go at like 5:50.
and that's 60 days from day one of your stay.
Yes.
So if you're arriving on a Monday, you could book the Monday through Friday or however long you're staying of your trip.
Right.
60 days in
Unless you are
advance.
not staying on a resort. If you're not on a resort, you still do 60 days, but you can't do your whole trip at once. So
Mm-hmm.
you do your day one of your trip 60 days before that. Day two, you have to wait for the next day. Day three, you have to wait for the next day. And you have to do in order.
Yeah.
Another thing to remember is if you don't get the reservation that you want, a lot of people they make these reservations and you reserve it with your credit card. There's like a
Mm-hmm.
$10 fee for certain things, and you get charged $10 if you don't cancel within 24 hours your reservation. So a lot of people get closer to their vacation and then they whittle down what they're actually going to do and they drop reservations like 24 hours before. So if
Yeah.
you don't get the reservation you want, be checking constantly throughout your planning time, but be
Yep.
checking the evening before what you want to do because you might get lucky.
What was the name of that website where you can
Yeah, I
check?
have that in my notes. It's
Okay.
called Mouse Dining. It's
Okay.
mousedining.com. For free, you can use their service where you sign up for up to 6 alerts, and they will send you an alert to your email when a reservation opens. So you can say, I want to watch Cinderella's Royal Table for May 1st, dinner time. And if something opens, they'll email you, and you have to immediately go reserve it.
Yeah.
Um, Now you can
Immediately.
pay, yeah, you can pay $9 a month for up to 50 alerts at a time, and you get text alerts instead of emails. Or you can pay $90 a year, which comes out to $750 a month for up to 100 alerts at a time. those two tiers are more for people who are like travel agents and trying to help their people book their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the monthly one could benefit you because you get a text instead of an email, which comes through faster, and you might stand a better chance of actually booking the opening.
And
But
something
that's
to
kind
keep
of a
in
little
mind.
secret.
Something to
Not a
keep in
secret, but a
mind
secret.
that I didn't know when I was booking some of our last dining experiences is if you're looking at some of the fancier things, there is a good chance you have to pay in advance for that reservation. For example, Cinderella's Royal Table. I went to make
Mm-hmm.
that reservation and had no idea that I was going to have to pay in advance for it. Luckily, I could.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to research before your 60-day mark, or if you're
Yeah.
going through a travel agent, you can ask them about it in advance too. Say, what things will I be able to book and pay at the restaurant versus what am I going to need to be willing to pay for in advance if I want this experience?
Right.
And
Very
Cinderella's
true.
Royal Table is totally worth it.
Oh, it is.
It was so much fun.
It was. It was a great experience. And one of the, giant benefits of these dining reservations is some of them are, like Cinderella's Royal Table, a character experience. So you get one on one time meeting the characters as they come around to your table,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get up and take pictures with them. It's
Yep.
a great way when you have small children to kind of keep them corralled in an area where you can get those good pictures, and they also get to sit and rest and eat a meal. And the characters kind of come to you one by one. So I
Yeah.
know when we went to Cinderella's Royal Table, it was still recent past COVID time. And
Yep.
so we couldn't actually go up to her and meet her, but she came out and like waved hello, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
now it's her and a couple other princesses, and they go table to table
Yeah.
like they used to. So it's really exciting, and it's a great way to get your kid an up close experience with a character without having to stand in line for one like it's a ride.
Yes, and that's a good thing to keep in mind too. If you have a certain character experience you're thinking about booking, but you know there's a chance you'll see that character at one of your dining experiences, skip the other one
Mm-hmm.
and get the pictures at the dining experience, unless you're really
For
into the
sure.
backgrounds that they have for their particular photo.
Yeah.
Akershus was a
But
really good one too for that.
yeah, that one's at Epcot. That one was really good
Hmm.
because it had a lot of princesses,
Yes,
and a
and they
little
used to
princess
parade
parade they
around.
did through the
Yeah.
restaurant. Yeah, it was cute.
That was one of my
um,
favorites.
yeah, that was a really good one. There's basically two kinds of dining when you go to Disney. There's quick service, and then
Hmm.
there's table service. Quick service is the kind of restaurant where you can just walk up and order something, find an open table, sit down and eat. Table service are the ones where you sit down, you have a reserved time to show up, and they serve you a full meal like you're in a restaurant.
Hmm.
So that's good to know. You can eat all quick service your entire trip and never do a big sit down, fancy, expensive character meal if you don't want to. Um, and it's good to know ahead of time where those are and what the options are because they serve different kind of foods at each one. And a tip for all you mamas out there is to have the app on your phone, the My Disney
Yeah.
Experience app, because you can mobile order ahead. You can put your whole order in. You can hit a button when you arrive to the restaurant, and it will say when your meal is ready. So you can just sit at the table and wait with all the kids. And one adult can go up to the window and it'll say, oh, mobile order pickup at window 8. And there's usually a little picture of a cell phone over the window where you go to pick up the food. And you can just go grab it and come sit back down. But that way you don't have to stand in those long lines and corral however many children you have with you, trying to
Yep.
get them to stand still while they wait for just a turn to order. And a lot of times, the spaces for quick service that they give you to stand in line and then turn and get your food and turn and leave is like a really tight U shape, and it's hard with a stroller.
Yeah.
So, always best to park somebody at the table with the kids and
Yep.
let the other person do the mobile pickup.
And chances are the person that's not doing the mobile pickup is going to be hovering around looking for an open table. So that way you're
Mm-hmm.
both accomplishing something at the same time because it's very
That's right.
often that those sit down spaces are just already completely full. So if you can have one person
Mm-hmm.
hovering around the dining area while you're going after the food, that can help.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
spent some of our time around the Toy Story area just finding a bench to sit at. So,
Yes, so much time.
yeah.
Looking for an empty trash can lid to eat on.
Yep.
Classics.
Sometimes you gotta adjust.
You do. The My Disney Experience website has a list of, has a list of all of the dining options at every single park. You can read descriptions. You can get an estimate of the cost. They'll give it in like $1, $2, or $3 signs, so you know kind of
Mm-hmm.
least to most expensive. Sometimes you can see the full menu on there. So if you're a mom of a kid with lots of picky eating or sensory eating or allergies, you can look ahead and plan ahead what you're going to eat if you want to. So it's good to know that all that information is out there. And also, there's lots of great YouTube videos. If you just search quick service at Magic Kingdom, people will review all the restaurants and the food, and they'll show you what the seating is like, and you can kind of get an idea ahead of time if you have any special needs, things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of plan what it's going to look like for you and your family.
I think if you go to Disney World's actual website, you can get menus of what they're serving currently that also has some pricing on it
Yeah.
beyond the dollar signs. View
There's
menu.
also another secret. So outside of the parks, of course, is the shopping area, Disney Springs. And there's lots of
Mm-hmm.
good dining there, including
Lots.
a Rainforest Cafe and a T-Rex Cafe. That have like animatronic dinosaurs inside and things like that, you
Yes.
know.
The
If
T
you've ever
Rex one
ate
has
at the
been very popular.
rainforest, yeah, the T-Rex is very popular. And there is a secret to that. Sometimes it's hard to get reservations. Even if you go to Disney Springs shopping area, you have to have a reservation to eat at these restaurants. They do have walk-up lists you can get on, but depending on the restaurant, it could be a long while.
Yeah.
So if you can get your reservations and have a certain time to show up. But a little known secret is if you have a kid that really wants to eat at T Rex and you haven't been able to nab a reservation, you can go and put yourself on the walk up list. If you have a
Mhm.
Landry's card, which is a rewards card for the Landry's restaurants, you get priority seating on the walk up list. So you show them your card, and they will put you at the top of the list of the walk ups to get a spot. So if you have a little one who really wants the dinosaurs and you haven't been able to get that reservation, go to Landry's website, Landry Select, join for free. Now, there is a $25 non refundable fee when you join. However, the card then comes loaded with a $25 reward that you can spend at their restaurants. So it is, you technically pay 25 bucks, but it is free because you get your
And you're
25 back.
exactly. They're just going to want to, they're making sure that you spend it at one of their restaurants, which that's
Right.
why you signed up. So
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
a lot of Landry's restaurants outside of Disney also. So this could come in handy for those too. I think when we went to Branson, we went to a Landry's.
Mm-hmm. The Rainforest
So
Cafe is
yeah,
Landry's.
they're
Um,
Landry's too.
there's an actual like Landry's restaurant, and I know there's one in the St.
Yeah,
Louis area.
yeah, and they own
Um,
just a whole bunch of different restaurants.
yeah,
Do they
I
own
think that
the?
I don't remember. I don't remember if it's Brew House or Tap House, but they own one of those.
Do they own Bubba Gump too?
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
at the Universal area, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a
Bubblegum.
few of those around our state too. So I'm sure there are in other
Okay.
states. And I did look it up. If you go to disneyworld.disney.go.com, which is their official website, it does, if you click on the different dining restaurants, it will give you a menu and prices. I will put the disclaimer out there that, of course, those menus are subject to change. There have been times where I looked
Yeah.
at the menu and then we showed up and they didn't happen to have like a seasonal item or something. But it does
Hmm.
give you an idea of what's on the menu as well as how much it might cost you. Like I used to go on there and plan out, I think I will eat this and maybe the kids will eat these things. And this is approximately how much I think it will cost me. But I also like to plan out way too much.
You know,
What do
there is some
you.
comfort to planning in advance. So
True. Do you have details on how the dining plan works right now?
I don't.
Okay.
I know that they just restarted it. You can only utilize it if you have a reservation at a Disney resort and
Right.
not renting DVC points, but your own live resort reservation. Um, there's some debate right now as to if it's as financially beneficial as the old dining
Mm-hmm.
plan was. So I haven't dug into it too deep, but there is a Disney dining plan that you can look at, and there's different levels based on what kinds of reservations and how many you want. But you can get the Disney dining plan where you pay an amount up front and then you get so many meals and snacks per day. And it's loaded onto your Magic Band, so you can just scan your Magic Band at the restaurant to pay.
Right.
Does not include tip, so keep that in mind.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I've used the dining plan in the past, like pre-COVID, and it was super convenient, and it was not, um, if anything, it saved you money as opposed to you paying more than you would for all those exact meals in the park. Um, I have heard that's not necessarily the case anymore, but I haven't seen a lot of breakdown videos on it yet.
Yeah.
Usually, a lot of the YouTubers will really break it down and say, oh, let's say you do these reservations and you're on this plan, and this is what it would have cost you with it and without it, and like do all the comparisons. So I haven't heard as much about that yet, but it does exist.
And that is something that will change from situation to situation as well, depending on what kind of dining you were planning on doing, how many people are
Mm-hmm.
in your group, things like that. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's worth it and sometimes it's not. I know in the past when you and mom went, you would get the dining plan pretty consistently. When
Yeah.
I would go, I always felt like just with our particular group size and what we were going to do, that it was not worth the money of me adding on the dining plan. And so
Yeah.
even with that, that was part of the reason why I stayed off campus at the time. I was like, I can stay off campus, I can buy what I want to buy, and it will overall save me money versus staying in a resort and doing the dining plan. But I also know that the iteration before this one of the dining plan, they had worked in alcoholic drinks to the point where if you were planning on drinking in the parks, it was a very obvious use the dining plan because it's going to save you money. And
Yes.
then, of course,
Yeah.
they came out with like, well, now we've changed it again. And now people are like, is it, is it not? I have no idea. But if you ever get confused on the dining plan, there are probably resources out there. We can link to them if we find some. And your like use a travel agent. Like it doesn't cost you
Mm-hmm.
anything extra. Definitely find one that's going to be responsive. But that is their job, and they are very good at breaking down all of that.
Yeah. And just a shout out to the vacation planners we've used most recently. We both
Mm-hmm.
use the Vacationeer,
Yes.
different travel agents, but same
Yeah.
company. They have
Great
dedicated
company.
Disney and Universal people. So, they're very responsive too. Even when I was on my trip, my travel agent had a vacation and she gave me the info for someone covering for her. And they proactively reached out to me while I was there and said, hey, just wanted to check in, see how your trip's going, and
Mm-hmm.
they switched a reservation for me that I wanted to swap up. So they're very responsive. Shout out to the
Yes.
vacationers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sky checked in with us a couple of times as well. And of course, anytime I had a question, she was just like right on it, especially
Yeah.
as we were there or about to check in. And I think there was when we went to Universal, maybe I was a little confused about the check in process. And she
Mm-hmm.
was immediately there, like answering questions and telling me exactly what to do. And I'm like, thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd
Yes,
be wandering around looking like an idiot.
there's nothing more relieving than having somebody to reach out to in that moment of panic when you're
Hmm.
trying to resolve some issue that's come up on your vacation.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is panic. There's a time that mom and I checked into a resort with my daughter, and we had reserved a room with two beds in it. So me and my daughter could sleep in one bed, and my mom could sleep in the other. And we opened the door, and it was one king bed. I
Oh.
was like, this ain't gonna work. um, Contacted the travel agent, and she walked us through, okay, you're gonna call and you're gonna let them know, and then when they call you back, you'll go to the front desk. And she just told me all the steps that were going to happen and what to expect. And
Hmm.
we actually wound up getting a pixie dust room upgrade, and we got upgraded to the Cars family suite because they didn't have any more rooms with two beds in them available. So we got a whole family suite, which has two beds, but and a pull-out couch. It
Right.
was a little much for three people, but it was also really nice because we did spend a day in the resort hanging out,
Hmm.
and we were able to spread out a little more too. And
Yeah.
it was a cool upgrade.
Yeah. Some of my favorite things, I guess I should say one. One of my favorite things about being in a family suite the last time was there was the bedroom that Brandon and I had with its bathroom, and then
Yeah.
the door that you could shut, and they could have their
Yes.
own TV and their own pull-out bed and the Murphy bed. And if you just wanted like a minute to just shut the door and let the kids scream on the other side of it, you totally could.
We enjoyed the same thing because you have your room with the door, and there's a full bathroom, so you can
Yep.
close your bedroom door and still have access to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really great when you have a little kid who sleeps longer or lighter,
Yeah.
people were able to get up and move around in the suite area without her waking up. Uh, we were able to close the door when we wanted to be loud and stay up and watch TV while she was passed out, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
it was very handy.
9 times out of 10, the thing that they want to watch on TV is not the thing that you want to watch on TV.
100%.
What was
Oh,
your favorite
I don't
dining
have any
experience by park?
I don't have any favorites for Animal Kingdom. I haven't done a whole lot of dining there. We did the what was that character meal?
Tusker House.
Tusker House. Yeah, we
Mhm.
did Tusker House, but it was during COVID when you had to wear your mask inside and you couldn't go up to the characters, and the food was really good for
Yeah.
the adults, but it was kind of adventurous food for the kids.
Yeah.
They weren't as into the cool food pieces.
Did they
They
have
did
mac
have
and cheese
kid
there?
food for them. They brought out
Yeah.
like nuggets and things like that, but
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
yeah. Um, and they were very accommodating when we had so many kids with us that they brought more of the nuggets than they normally would have as
Yeah.
in comparison to the fancier foods. So it was a nice place to sit down, but it was a little hard to find.
That
We
is
had to
true.
weave our way around to find it, and
Yeah.
then I don't know, it just didn't feel as fun as some of the other ones. But I'm just not a big Animal Kingdom gal either. So if there's a
Yeah.
park I choose to skip, it's that one. So
That
maybe
was
that's why.
also the only dining experience that we had in there, if I remember correctly. I really liked the food, but that's, I'm not the kid, I'm the adult. And I think my kids almost got us kicked out because Silas kept trying to hug
Hug the
everyone because he was
characters.
young
Yeah.
enough that he didn't understand, hey, we can't touch right now.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I did like the Tusker House. And if you have kids that will give things a try before saying yes or no, I would definitely try it. But yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
other than that in the Starbucks, I don't think we experienced much.
Okay, so Hollywood Studios. I haven't done a lot of the dining there either. It's also another park that's low on my list. I always go for Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and then I add
Mhm.
Hollywood Studios if I can. Um, but there are some cool dining experiences I want to try.
Same.
There's the 50s primetime dining. That one looks really cool, really
Is that the one
themed,
where they make fun of you while you eat there?
a little bit.
Okay.
They tease you about like finishing the food on your plate and it's decorated
Yeah.
like the 50s, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's this really cool one called the Sci-Fi Diner that I really want to try, where you
That
go in and it's like this
same.
huge dark theater, and it's like you're at a drive up. So you sit in an old fashioned looking car, and there's like a little table tray in front of you, and there's a big screen in front of you, and they play classic like old school sci-fi,
Hmm.
Twilight Zone kind of stuff. That always looks really cool, but I have yet to be able to snag a reservation for it. There's also one I think Hollywood and Vine is the character meal there, where you can
Okay.
eat with Pluto, Mickey, and Minnie. And around the holidays, they're themed, like they'll wear their Halloween costumes or their Christmas outfits or whatever.
We did Woody's Lunchbox, which is
Oh
quick
yeah, I did do that
service.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, and I wanted to do that because of the cute little pastries I'd seen online. But I'm like, I know we
yeah.
had to have eaten again there, and I don't think we ate at any of the actual restaurants. Maybe we just got like sodas and popcorn
Mm-hmm.
because I'm looking at the different restaurants. I know for a fact we did not do Oga's, and I know I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the dinosaur one, but we didn't end up going there. So yeah, it
Yeah,
might be that
Oga's
we only did.
Cantina.
Did
Yeah,
you go to that?
I didn't. We actually canceled the reservation. I had made a reservation for you, me, and Brandon there,
Oh, that's
but it was
right.
like the end of the day, and we were all like, "Ugh, we're ready to go back to the hotel."
Mm-hmm.
But mom and dad did go in the morning, and I've
Yeah.
seen lots of video reviews about it since. It is very cool, but it is very loud, very
Yes.
adult themed, and
Yes.
there aren't seats like you stand around your table, and there's more like appetizer-y kind of food and then special alcoholic beverages. Now there are non-alcoholic ones too, but just so the families are aware.
And something to
So
keep
it's
in
more
mind
adult
too,
themed.
that's a good point that this one reminded me of. Not every restaurant, if you do a dining plan, takes the dining plan. So take a
Yeah.
look at the restaurants that you do want to check out and make sure that they're on the dining plan. before you make that decision.
True story.
Yeah, Oga's is one of them. I know some of the fine dining ones either don't count or take up an immense amount of credits if they do.
Yeah.
So definitely look into that.
All right,
What
so
about
here
your
comes my
favorite?
favorite for dining. Epcot.
Yes, Epcot.
Epcot's going to
It's
take a while.
so hard
There's so
to
much to eat
choose.
there
I
because they have the
know.
World Showcase and there's restaurants in each area of the world. So,
If you're a foodie or a drinky and you can only pick one other thing besides the Magic Kingdom, pick Epcot.
Epcot, 100%. If you're a foodie and a drinky, you might want 2 days at Epcot because
This
it
is
can really
true.
take a lot of time to go around. Or you might want to get a
Yeah.
park hopper so you can be in one park, hop over for a dining experience, and hop back.
Yeah. You could
Know a lot of
literally
people that
you
do
could
that.
spend one day, especially if they're having the food and drink festival, or there was another one that I think was more around the baked goods around the holidays. But like they have a couple of things where you might get like a passport that you can go check off all the different things. And if you're going to eat and drink around the world, it might be good to have one day of that's our focus and then one day of everything else is the focus
Yes,
if you
yes.
can afford it.
Epcot has festivals throughout the right festivals throughout the year. There's the Festival of the Arts, which is more about the artists that do
Hmm.
Disney art, basically, and they have like booths where you can buy their professional art and things, and they'll have sidewalk chalk artists and things like that. But each festival has different food booths too, even the arts
Hmm.
festival. There's the Food and Wine Festival, the Festival of the Holidays, which is
Oh,
probably the
that's
one
the
with the
one I
more
was
baked
thinking of.
goods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of good ones. And yes, there are themed passports for each festival you can get, and there are little activities you can do to like win a special kind of cookie and that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
lots of good stuff to check out for sure.
Yeah. And
I
I
don't know if
think
I could pick a favorite restaurant.
so.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon and I had started on the Festival of the Holiday collecting, and I was like, we can each get one from each different place, and everyone can sample it, and then we'll go to the next one so we don't like fill up on cookies.
Yeah.
And we got part of the way through that, and then of course, as you're going through your day, you're also doing rides and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
evening came around, and it was like overlapping with the food and drink one or something. There was something else going on, and all of a sudden, all the stands were just the lines you were
Packed.
standing in were like the hour-long lines you expected for actual rides. And we were like,
Yeah.
okay, we're not completing the passport today. The special cookie is not worth
Yes.
it.
Back then, you couldn't park hop until 2 p.m. So people were coming in the
Mhm.
afternoons and the evenings
Yep.
and filling up those lines. That's something nice about the World Showcase is you can stand in line for little side booths. Even if you don't
Hmm.
have like full on dining reservations, you'll still
Right.
get to experience different foods from different parts of the world if you're interested in that. So
I love the Kringla Bakery in the Norwegian area.
that's a good
So
one.
good.
I'd have to say though, above that for me is the France. Um,
La
I don't know the
Crepiere,
name. Yeah.
the crepe
So you go
place.
back into the back of France and you're in like this gift shop, and back behind that is like this bakery, fancy dessert place. And you can like go through and like point at the desserts you want and get them on a little tray and
Oh,
go sit
that's
down and eat
different.
them. And they are
That might
so
be
good.
patissier or whatever. The
Yes,
crepe,
that's
the,
it. The
the other
patissier.
place is where we had the crepes at.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. The crepes were good, but I don't think they were worth the full sit down experience, in my opinion.
I
They were just
agree.
crepes.
Yeah. And don't, I mean, do judge my French, but I don't do French. So I'm going to say things how
I
they
don't
look
either.
on paper.
From
I
the way
think,
we say
though,
it, you'll be able to look it up online. How about that?
right? I think it's Akershus or whatever is always going to be my favorite, though. Like, I like the kind of food they have there, too. However, I really want to eat at, yeah, Takamite. Teppan Ito is the hibachi place. I want to try
Yes.
that. I want to do Rose and Crown for the special fireworks stuff. And I want to do Space.
I'd love to do Space 220. It looks really cool in all the video reviews I see. But my go to when I go to Epcot is Via Napoli, which is in
Ooh,
Italy. I
yep.
love their pizza. Oh
And
my
it's a
God, it's
good
so
place for the
good.
kids. The kids will eat
Yeah.
there.
Yes. The pizza is delicious. Kids will enjoy it. I've seen kids enjoy Space 220 as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they'll like that.
at least on videos, I should say. I've
Akershus
never
will
been
be a
there
little bit
myself.
more of the kid might not enjoy it, but it will knock out one of your character dinings.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I don't
We
remember if this is the same post COVID because we went to that, you and me, kid free pre
before,
COVID.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, you had a baby, but he didn't eat anything.
yeah,
They had, it was buffet style, and they had like
yes,
the Norwegian foods, but they also had an American foods buffet
yep.
where you could get mac and cheese and chicken nuggets and
Which I'm
stuff. So
assuming is still the
I'm
case,
assuming it's
but
still, yeah.
we
Yeah.
haven't been in a while, so that's
A
fair.
lot of the places that were buffet though have changed to more of a restaurant table-y service thing. So you
True.
might have to like request those items as opposed to just being able to get up and grab it yourself. Yeah,
And you
lots
were,
of great dining. The Mexican restaurant is one of my favorite walk-ups. Now there is
I
a
keep wanting
sit-down
to try that
Mexican
one.
restaurant. Yeah.
And
There's
I
a
heard the
sit-down
margaritas are
Mexican
good.
restaurant that's like inside the big pyramid.
Hmm.
Um, and that's a really cool ambiance experience. But outside, right across the street, is a quick service Mexican place, and it's pretty delicious. So, and there's a like shaded seating area, and
And you're
that's
halfway
actually
through the
where we parked. Yeah, that's where we parked to eat, and I took off, rode Guardians of the Galaxy, and came back.
I know we usually whine at the beginning of these things, but just talking about all the different dining experiences and the options and how some of them are ones that your kids will be into immediately and some of them might not be. I just want to say a huge pet peeve of mine is when people whine about the food at the restaurant. I get it. You're spending a lot more than you normally would to eat at these restaurants, and maybe you expect something really crazy, and then you're a little disappointed to find out that, like, the burger is just a burger, but you're not paying just for the food. You're paying for the ambiance of the restaurants. You're paying for the
Yeah.
interactions with the characters. You're paying for the experience around the food too. So some
Yes.
places are going to have really cool, interesting dishes to try. Some of them are going to be standard burger or mac and cheese or chicken nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not all of what you're paying for. And there's no reason not to look the menu up ahead of time and decide if you are willing to spend that kind of money for that kind of a menu. That's it.
Yes. 100%. 100%. I hear people complain all the time about Chef Mickey's, which is a character breakfast dining experience in the contemporary resort.
Mhm.
And people go there because they want their kids to wake up and have breakfast with Mickey and Minnie, which is really cool. But it's the regular kind of breakfast food you could get at your resort in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And people get mad about that because you pay a lot more for the Chef Mickey experience. But there's reasons, there's
Yeah.
the ambiance of the restaurant, the special costumes that you get to meet them in that they don't wear anywhere else, the
Yeah.
fact that you get the character interactions, and it's inside the Contemporary, which is one of the deluxe resorts that the monorail stops inside of. So there's all these extra pieces that
Yeah.
people
And
don't
sometimes
consider.
the experience that you get with the character inside of the restaurant can be of a better quality than when you're standing in line and they're trying to get through the whole line of people who want to meet a certain character. Like even at the
Yeah, you
Crystal
get more
Palace,
time and
yeah. Like if they're busy, you might only see each character once, but when they're slower, we saw the characters multiple times sometimes.
mm-hmm.
And instead of
Yeah.
just seeing Winnie the Pooh or just Tigger, we got Pooh and Tigger and Piglet and Eeyore, like
That's right.
so suck it up. All right,
Oh, I have
Disney.
something to whine about.
Oh, go for it.
I had I had a favorite wine experience. I had a favorite dining experience that I did one time called 1900 Park Fair, and it's at the
Mhm.
Grand Floridian. And it was so cool. It was buffet style, like all you can eat once you get there. And I met Mary Poppins, Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter, just
Nice.
some really great character experiences. And Tigger would come back behind the restaurant. You could pop out and get like a picture with him without even waiting in line and come back
Mhm.
to your table. It was wonderful. And then COVID hit and they took it away. And it didn't come back when everything else came back. And people are like, what is
Aw.
going on? Why hasn't it come back yet? They just recently announced that it's returning with a retheme. So it used to be you could do those characters during the day, and I want to say at night you could meet Cinderella, the evil stepmother, and the two
I
stepsisters.
think you're right.
And it was like the only place you could meet the wicked stepmother or something like
Mhm.
that. But they're retheming it, but the theme doesn't match the characters that they've picked. You can look up videos about that, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it. You will probably like it, Amanda, because Aladdin is one of the characters. And that's your favorite movie. So
Yay! Yeah, I've
I
never.
don't think he has Jasmine with him, though, which is
Oh
interesting.
well, never mind then.
But I think
That's
it's him in his Prince Abu outfit or something like that.
it can
It's
be
about
very
wishes being
hard.
granted.
Oh, gotcha. It can be very
I'm
hard
like,
to find
well,
Aladdin and Jasmine in their park area. I have never once
yeah.
met them in the park or otherwise. So even
Yeah.
though I'm an adult now, that would be fun.
Yes, Aladdin and Jasmine, you can meet them together in the Magic Kingdom over by the Agrabah flying carpets.
Yes.
There's a little spot kind of tucked back behind there, but they are popular because it's really one of the only places you can meet them. And
Yeah.
so the line gets long fast. You might
And
be
they're
in it
not
for a
out
while.
there a lot.
No, they aren't. And then you can meet Jasmine, or you used to be able to meet Jasmine in Morocco at the World Showcase in Epcot. But I know during COVID, when everything left, I don't know that she came back with the other ones. I haven't
Yeah.
seen pictures, so I don't know.
Did you know that you can meet a couple of the characters from Turning Red now in Epcot?
Yes, I did see
That's
that.
so
They've got a cute
cool.
little spot for him too.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's so fun.
And I want to say I heard that they were replacing Merida from Brave at the Magic Kingdom. She's got a little spot as you're kind of walking up behind the castle. That they were
Mhm.
replacing her. Was it with Mirabelle from Encanto? Maybe,
Maybe.
but she was getting a swap out.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
What's your favorite Magic Kingdom restaurant?
That one's hard for me. I'm a Beauty and the Beast gal through and through, so
Uh-huh.
I
I knew
love
this
the
was
Be Our
coming.
Guest dining experience. However, I wish it was a character meal. They claim it is because if you eat dinner there, the Beast will come out and wave
Yeah.
at everybody. But he doesn't
Yeah.
come table to table. There's not really interaction. He just kind of walks down the aisle and waves, and like that's it.
He
So,
did come table to table when Brandon and I took the kids. I don't know if that's a
yeah.
change or if we just got lucky. However, Jack was not a fan. And so he came by like one time and then he was like, not touching that table again.
There are great places to meet Belle in Magic Kingdom. There, you've got the story time with Belle or story tales,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. That was a
And
lot of
that's a
fun.
really fun interactive experience, especially if you have little kids that like to get involved because they'll give you like a little character cardboard to be, and you get to
Yep.
stand up in front of everybody and move your character and stuff.
Yep.
And they'll pick kids at the beginning, who wants to do it. So if your kid doesn't want to do it, there's no pressure. But yeah, you get to meet Belle in her golden ball gown, which is just really cool. So
Hmm.
during COVID, she would come stand out in front of that in her blue and white outfit and talk from far away behind the fence. I don't know if she still does that after COVID, but
Yeah. And you can find her in the blue and white outfit at Epcot, right?
yes, over by France, there's this little kind of carve out on the side where you can walk this path and be like closer to the lake. And she kind of stands back there, and you can get in line and kind of walk through half of it, get your picture with her, and then walk through the other half.
Yeah.
It's
I
almost like a
really
little
like
cul-de-sac.
I really like Cinderella's Royal Table, I think. Like I love the Beauty and the Beast one too. They have themes for each dining area. You've got the West Wing,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the ballroom, you've got different themes for different
Yeah,
rooms,
you can
which
get
is
your
fun.
picture with the rose and the stained glass
Even if they
portrait
don't see
thing,
you
and
there, like you can just walk in there and take your picture.
mm-hmm.
But the royal table was just on a whole other level. Like when you first walk in, there's a fun little waiting area, and you have plenty of time down there to take pictures and hang out and
Mm-hmm.
just absorb the
Suits of
atmosphere.
armor and cool little,
Yes,
yeah.
so much cool stuff. And then when you go up into the actual dining area, you can choose to take the stairs or they've got an elevator for people who need it. And you go up there and it's just like the whole dining area is really cute. And even though Cinderella was only able to come out onto the like little balcony area at the time, your kids still got to take turns going up to that and like they would stand under the ledge while she was up there and you could still get your pictures together.
Mm-hmm.
But just the wait staff themselves, they were very attentive. The
Yeah.
food was really good. And I don't know if it was just because we happened to be one of the last reservations of the day, but the guy even let our kids have extra dessert. So don't expect that, but totally a possibility. And the
Yeah,
dessert
we
was
got some
so
desserts
good.
yeah, we got desserts to split, and they had like
Mhm.
little, like white chocolate decorations on them.
Yeah.
And he heard one of the kids get mad that one of the other kids got the white chocolate piece and he brought on an extra little white chocolate thing. Like,
Hmm.
just all those little things, that make it really magical. So
Right.
that was a really good experience and really
Yeah.
good food. I
Yes.
can't say that I've not liked the food at Be Our Guest, but it wasn't anything I went home and raved about. It was just kind of like, oh, that was good food. It was
Yeah. I
okay.
think, too, that's the difference between, I mean, I wouldn't say Cinderella's table is on the same level as fine dining, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
step up from your normal table service. It's kind of that middleman between like super expensive fine dining and table service. So it is
Yeah.
a higher quality of things there. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So since the food is a little higher quality, I can see it being different from Be Our Guest in that way. And like Be Our Guest, you make the reservation, you show up, you pay there. Cinderella's table, you're paying in advance. So it's one of those ones where they view that it's high enough quality that they're having you pay for the reservation now, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'd have to say, if we're going to do like a favorite quick service at Magic
Oh yeah,
Kingdom, the
there's so
Pinocchio
many.
Village House.
Yeah, that one's
Oh,
good.
that one is good. They have really good flatbread pizza, which is something I go weak in the knees for. But it's also convenient. It's very conveniently
True.
located. When it starts to rain, you can rush in there. You're covered. The food
Yeah.
comes out quick. There's chicken fingers for the kids.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times quick service at Pinocchio Village House has saved my butt. Uh, we just suddenly realized
Yeah.
how hungry we were, or it started to sprinkle and it was just right there. It's like right in
Yeah.
the middle of all the Magic Kingdom Fantasyland madness, and it's perfectly just rescued me many times.
I know Pecos Bill is popular too.
Yes, that one is very good too. That's a Mexican place over in Adventureland.
Yeah.
Um, Yummy, yummy. And they
Where?
have a lot of indoor seating
Oh,
options as well.
Casey's Corner. I know it's hot dogs. I really like Casey's Corner.
I don't know that I've ever really eaten at Casey's Corner, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they have popcorn and stuff in there too. I'm pulling up the menu. I just like it's that whole like 40s baseball like theme and everybody's yelling at each other. Like you get that whole
Hmm.
Chicago feel.
I feel like because of their location, I always I don't think of them as an eating option because I see they're right at the end of the shops before you
That's
enter all the
fair.
lands. So you're
Yeah.
rushing in the morning and you're just kind of like, oh, cool, yeah. Uh-huh. And then you spend
Yeah.
most of your day in the lands and you're coming out beat. And, sometimes I'll go into the bakery, but I never go into Casey's.
Yeah, and your mind is on that bakery because you're thinking about all the Mickey shaped treats that maybe you can take home as souvenirs, and it's very easy
Yes.
to just they're crammed into a corner. It's very easy to just pass right by it.
That's another tip about the dining plan. If you get it, you get so many snacks per day. If you found at the end of the day you haven't used your snack credits yet, go into the bakery. You can use it for things that are easy to pack and travel home with.
Yep.
There was one time when I went with boyfriend at the time, and we realized that we didn't use hardly any of our snack credits. And back then, you could save up your credits and get them all on the last day if you wanted to. I think now you have to use them each day. I could be wrong about that. But we
Yeah,
went into the bakery and we got just a ton of the Rice Krispie treats that were dipped and decorated different ways, and a
those are so
special
fun.
treat that his kid could eat because he had allergies and things. So we kind of loaded up on that stuff in our suitcases.
And a really fun story related to that is on one of our previous videos. If you want to go check that out, when they flew home one of those treats. And anytime that you have a party ticket, or say you're at a restaurant where you're getting a bottled drink and maybe it doesn't get consumed during that meal, I always saved all of that and took it back to the hotel, whether you were going to snack on it later that night or take it home. They come in handy later. So don't be like, oh no, I don't need it. Just take it because you'll
Yeah.
need it later.
Yeah. So there's also a lot of really good resort dining and experiences. So
Yes.
check those out. There's always good Disney transportation to the different resorts, and
Yep.
you can walk around the lobbies and check out the resorts and experience their ambiance while you're there. But
You
there's a
are
lot of
not
really
stuck at
cool.
the resort you're staying at.
That's right. You can travel and look around. There's a lot of cool little lounges and things. Like if you go to the Grand Floridian, they have a Beauty and the Beast themed lounge. If you go to the Polynesian, they have the Sam's Tiki Sam's Tiki Bar or something like that. That's a really cool kind of bar adult experience.
Yeah.
They've got that, what's the family dining there with Stitch? Ohana.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Ohana.
at the
I want to try that
Polynesian.
too.
Yeah. Mom and Ari and I did a really cool Snow White dining experience at Fort Wilderness. Was that
Hmm.
Fort Wilderness or the Wilderness
Are you thinking
Lodge?
about the Snow
Wilderness
White one?
Lodge. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try that sometime.
That one was really cool and really beautifully decorated and themed. So, when you're thinking about dining and stuff like that, there are always days where you can schedule to not use a park ticket, to just enjoy your resort and maybe hop to another resort for a cool dining experience. It's a great way to meet characters and you can dress
Hmm.
up. I dressed Ari up like Snow White when we went in. So that was really
So
fun.
fun.
Until we had to meet the evil queen, Ari got real nervous to meet the evil queen in her Snow White outfit, and the evil
Most
queen
of
did
them
not
have
make
like
it
an
easy on
attitude.
her.
Yeah.
Yes, she, like, as soon as she saw her costume, she was like, mm-mm.
Usually,
it
though, when
was
the
it
kid
was
is
fun.
choosing to dress up that way, knowing that character is going to be there, they're like, I'm going to give the character a hard time too. So it's really funny that she got
Yes,
nervous.
yeah, she got real shy about it.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the art of animation one, that was actually a really good one because they had the cute little desserts and everything.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
times the themed, like, special desserts, they had some themed around the 50th anniversary last time we went, and you could get some of them at the cafeteria.
They were
And they
so
do
pretty you
mobile
didn't
ordering
want to
at,
eat them.
yes, they do the mobile ordering there too. So you can be in your room and make an
Yep.
order and walk all the way up to the cafe and say, I'm here. And then they'll prepare it and boom.
Yep. And one parent stays in the room with the four kids, and the other parent has a nice solitary walk to the cafe and back.
Yep. And
It was
they have little
beautiful.
carrying, like, they'll put it all in a big paper bag for you or have little carrying things for your drinks. So it is possible to go as one adult and get the family's meal and walk
Yeah.
back to the room by yourself.
Yes. But yeah, they all.
Um,
I think that's one of the things I would like to do when we go back for your birthday
mhm.
is check out some of the ones at the different resorts that we're not staying at. I
I
might see if
always
we
say I
can
want to
fit
do
in.
that. And then I get very much like I want to be in the parks from sun up to sundown once
Aim.
I'm there. And I don't take the time to do the other stuff. And I always
Maybe
want
on
to.
our rest
And I
day.
think, I don't live here and I want to be in the park while I'm here.
Let's change that. Let's go live there.
I'd love to. I have checked many times about transferring my counseling licensure down there, but it's unfortunately
Hmm.
one of the worst states to move from where I'm at because they want you
Of
to take
course
a
it
whole
is.
different exam. They want you to take extra college courses first. And I'm like, no, I've been in the field for 10 plus years. I do not need more courses. I take my CEUs every year. This is
Mhm.
ridiculous.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Florida likes to be the best at being the worst.
Yes. Although I could, well, no, I don't know if that's the same anymore. Never mind. It used to be you could live in one place and see people where they live if you have a license where they
Oh,
live. But some
yeah,
of those rules have changed, so I don't
yeah,
know for sure anymore. And they're getting ready
that's
to do
fair.
the counseling compact, which I will 100% participate in if I can once it's official.
Mhm. As always, thanks for joining us. Check us out on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, on TikTok. I don't update the Instagram a whole lot because I'm a slacker, but we're working on it. I don't think I even put up the vision board that you sent me, so I should probably do that.
you know.
But we're going to be spending a couple more weeks talking about Mickey Mouse March. In fact, March is a 5-week month, so I think you and I might have to plan one more week.
Yes.
Yeah, and we get 3 paychecks.
That's
So
bi-weekly.
take that third paycheck, invest it according to our financial February tips, and maybe you'll have
Mm-hmm.
some extra Mickey Mouse money when you go to
That's right.
Disney. But make sure to
Help
check
us
us out on all
out,
our
like,
platforms.
subscribe, all the
Mhm.
fun things.
Yep, we're on Patreon as well if you feel like supporting us, and we will see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.